They came in their hundreds to yet another planning conference, this time in the tourist capital Livingstone. Now in its 8th year, the National Planning Conference was held at the Radisson Blu Mosotonia Resort from the 9th to the 11th of August 2023. Planners from across the country attended the event, which was fully packed. The event was held under the theme Unlocking Barriers to Socio-Economic Development. The 8th National Planning Conference was unique as it also hosted leaders of planning institutes from Zimbabwe and Botswana, as well as planning students from Stuttgart University in Germany. On the first day, a number of presentations were made. The first one was dealing with project management, monitoring and evaluation. It was led by Abigail Mwapi from the Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority, ZICTA. A number of papers were presented by some planners. One was on the housing deficit in Zambia, and it was presented by Jennifer Piri, who is the provincial planner for the Copperbelt province. With developmental issues top of the agenda in the nation, another planner, Christopher Piri, presented paper on unlocking barriers to socio-economic development. To add a foreign perspective to the planning profession, the Charter Cities Institute gave its voice at the National Planning Institute. More presentations followed. This was to give planners an opportunity to broaden their minds and gain new insights into their profession. A panel was constituted to discuss a number of issues. Planner Nalumino Mayumbelo presented a paper on regional and rural planning, disaster management, climate change, and epidemic preparedness. The topic was timely, as Zambia had just come from addressing floods during the 2022-2023 rain season, as well as the coronavirus pandemic, which hit the country hard. Another panelist, David Katungula, from People's Process on Housing and Poverty, gave a talk on challenges of housing in Kitwe's Iposukilo compound. The presentation showed how thousands of Iposukilo residents share a small piece of land and lack basic services. Before lunch, a panel discussion was held on the importance of integrated development plans, IDPs. Zambia Institute of Planning Vice President Charity Kalombo facilitated the discussion. Later, planners had an opportunity to ask questions or raise points of clarification. In the afternoon of the first day, the Zambia Institute of Planning hosted a unique opportunity, the launch of integrated development plans for all the 15 districts in Southern Province. In attendance was the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Garen Kombo, and his Permanent Secretary, Nicholas Piri. Finance and National Planning Minister, Dr. Stumbeko Msukotwani, and Southern Province Minister, Cornelius Mwetwa. The IDPs were produced with the help of a cooperating partner, GIZ.
The cooperation with our Zambian partners from the central as well as local level are based on mutual trust and appreciation. And I would like to emphasize that this trust of our partners, the dedication and ownership is the actual single most valuable resource that we have. We provide long-term technical advice and options on best practices. For instance, via our contribution in the development process of the decentralization policy, and moreover on its implementation at the local level with hands-on, close support to the partners at the local level.
The provincial administration expressed happiness at the help rendered by the Germany organization in coming up with IDPs.
On behalf of all the local authorities in the Southern Province, I wish to thank GIZ for their financial and technical support to all the local authorities during the formulation of the IPDS.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development had an important policy announcement to make at the event.
We have been allowed that for the year 2024, for all the remaining districts whose IDP processes were not funded or did not have support financially, we've been given permission and leeway to factor those under the Constituency Development Fund envelope.
Later, the Minister of Finance and National Development weighed in on the need for proper planning in the country.
We are here planning for what? Planning for the betterment of the lives of our people, isn't it? So everything that we are doing here is to make sure that the lives of our people, the children, the women, ourselves, becomes better.
For the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, he reminded planners to execute their jobs diligently.
The importance of these documents we are launching this afternoon cannot be overemphasized. Firstly and foremost, it is a legal requirement pursuant to the section number 18 of subsection 3 of the Urban and Regional Planning Act number 3 of 2015, which states that an IDP, abbreviation of Integrated Development Plan, in court, open court, shall be the principal planning instrument to guide and inform all planning and development in the area of the local authority and all planning decisions of the planning authority.
Each of the 15 districts in Southern Province received a copy of their IDPs through their respective mayors, town clerks, council secretaries, and council chairpersons. The morning of the second day was dedicated to the official opening of the National Planning Conference. Much to the excitement of the planners, President Hakainde Hichilema graced the event, becoming the first head of state to attend an NPC in the Institute's 8 years history of holding the national event. Upon arrival, President Hichilema toured a number of stands mounted outside Mukuni Hall at Radisson Blu Mosetunya Resort. Here, the President was shown how a number of organizations work in relation to planning.
Zanaco, being who we are as the Zambian homegrown bank, we believe that planners are a critical part of who we are and growing our society and community and the infrastructure that is required for us to be able to deliver to our people. So it was actually a no-brainer for us to partner with the Institute and come on board to support this initiative. We believe that our planners are the unsung heroes in our society because without them, nothing can happen.
The theme for this year's AGM was attractive to us because it was looking at unlocking barriers to socio-economic development. As WWF, we believe that it is critically important for us to share our knowledge, our research with the planners so that as they are planning around how to create opportunities, how to conserve the natural resources and protect biodiversity, they have the information that they require.
Later, President Hichilema and his entourage joined planners in the Mukuni Conference Hall for the official opening of the 8th National Planning Conference. Southern Province Minister Cornelius Mwetwa gave opening remarks to welcome all planners from across Zambia and beyond.
We are grateful that you took time out of your busy schedule, notwithstanding that yesterday you were here, flew back into Lusaka and come back because you understand the enormity of the work at hand in this room. We are grateful, sir. We welcome you to Livingstone. We welcome everybody who has come here.
One of the sponsors of the planning conference was the Congress of Cooperatives in Zambia, whose president also spoke at the event.
The Congress of Cooperatives in Zambia stands as a formidable force for advancing the cooperative movement, championing the interests of its members, and contributing to the social economic growth and well-being of our communities. Cooperative enterprises have long been recognized as powerful drivers of inclusive and sustainable development by harnessing the principles of democratic governance, transparency, and social responsibility. Cooperatives have the potential to uplift communities, create jobs, reduce poverty, and empower individuals to become architects of their own prosperity.
For Zambia Institute of Planners, President Busiku Sulwe, it was an opportunity to showcase the profession and stress why it is important for governments to support planners in their work.
The guest of honor, sir, as an institute, we will ensure that our members adhere to a strict code of conduct and ethics in the delivery of public services in support of a more resilient development while unlocking barriers to socio-economic development. His Excellency, accounting for gross domestic product, GDP, contribution at local level will be an essential aspect of this integrated development process.
Mr. Sulwe also used the opportunity to lobby for the creation of a position of Special Assistant on Planning and State House.
I propose the establishment of a Special Assistant on Planning. This role will serve as a vital link between all aspects of planning, including land use, economic development, social and environmental management. By bringing these elements together, we can ensure that our decisions are well informed and coordinated. This role, Your Excellency, is vital to your presidential delivery unit. The establishment of the PDU to us is a welcome move, and we think that we have a very big role to play to help you deliver and unlock the barriers to socio-economic development.
During his keynote speech, President Hichilema highlighted the role of planners and their need to help the country solve many challenges.
Planners in their town, urban, country planners. In there is engineers. In there is architects. Isn't it? Totality of things. That's my message to you today. Let's address our problems, our challenges in totality, not in isolation. If I said other things, I'll be saying things that have been said already. But you have heard them already. Because when you are in a forum like this, pick messages from every speaker, then pull it together. Then at the end of the day, agree an action plan to implement. Then it was worthwhile coming here. And then we action those things.
The head of state also pledged his support to planners and called on them to help government fight corruption and rigidities in local authorities.
Mr. President, this government needs your support in many areas we've covered, including the fight against corruption. Why people build without plans? Because sometimes it's for something. Kasamthing. That's the correct pronunciation. Kasamthing. Now, that kasamthing is so little in comparison to the damage. So that too we would like you to agree to work with us. And the fight against corruption is not tribal. Please, young people.
Later, Zambia Institute of Planners President Busiku Sulwe presented a gift to President Hakainde Hichilema before conferring him with the honorary membership of the Zambia Institute of Planners.
His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema as the honorary fellow of the Zambia Institute of Planners.
In the afternoon, business of the conference continued in the absence of the President of Zambia and his entourage. A distinguished panel discussed disaster and recovery work, as well as turning resettlements into viable business areas. Immediate past ZIP President Kupa Chibombo facilitated this session. On the panel were planners from the Ministry of Local Government, Civic Forum on Housing and Habitat Zambia, and Kaoma Town Council.
One of the things government has taken note of
resettlement schemes offer a huge potential in terms of creating rural transformation. The idea is to turn resettlement schemes into productive hubs with a whole range of services ranging from production up to consumption.
First weakness is the required infrastructure. First of all, that resettlement should be easy accessed. That's the first thing. And in fact, the most of the resettlements, either road is a challenge. Health services. There's no way I can settle in a place where if I fall sick, I can easily die and go to the hospital. So these roads, health, and even these primary schools, if they can be there, that's the first thing.
So the other, like some of the other activities that we've had into making them into productive hubs is to build capacity. So we've been using the ward development committees and the zonal representatives, which are like the governance structures at that level. And we've conducted training in entrepreneurship and also other skills. And also we've tried to link them to other organizations that are providing skills training facilities.
What is composed on the complete building plan? You will find there's a site plan which is showing the plots around that plot. And you have another where you have the block plan showing how this house has settled on that plot. And now you go further to the house plan itself, where it shows where the bed is supposed to be, where the toilets and everything. So same with the local area plan, it gives us much more detail on what is happening in a particular area, and that gives us a great insight for all possible interventions in case of disaster, development needs and so forth.
The National Planning Conference was declared closed and planners got into an annual general meeting. At the end, some planners gave their views on their experience during the National Planning Conference.
I think when we started organizing this conference, we had some challenges and we also had some quick wins. And I think some of the challenges that we had was to bring people on board to understand what the concept was about. And like for this year's concept was looking at integrated development planning, and we're bringing in planners from different sectors, not only in local government but other institutions. So we have people from the private sector, academia, practicing practitioners around planning. So when we're bringing them in, it was bringing them in a space where all the issues to do with environmental, social and spatial development can be addressed.
So this conference has been growing from strength to strength. When we started, ZIP was very small, even in terms of attendance, in terms of even presentation of papers. We never used to have as many. But this year you may have noted that in fact we had so much on the program. A lot of people were presenting papers, researchers, and we had the epic of the event, which is the head of state himself coming to grace ZIP for the first time. This is big for ZIP. And what is even bigger is that we are also following what government is doing, in that this conference theme was unlocking socio-economic development. And you can see from the papers that indeed they are going towards unlocking socio-economic development.
I think the future of planning in Zambia is bright. There's a lot of hope that he gave us, and I think even the way we look at planning ourselves has changed now, because you know, even when you are executing your duties as a planner, you feel confident enough because you have support from the head of state